Why hello. Welcome to episode 230 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. I would say I do believe, but that would be a lie because I know for a fact it's 230 because I had to just go back and rewatch the last couple episodes because I can't remember what I set up. So, hello. WWE 2K22 came out. I don't know if you noticed. And that was eating up a lot of my time. But we're here. I haven't updated the champions at the bottom of my screen because I just saw it said AJ Styles and Omos for the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. That's not correct. It's now the Street Profits. So yeah, we're getting back into the swing of things. So here is the plan. For now. We're going to do SmackDown today. You're going to love it because it's going to be a great show. Starting with 2:30. For the entire month of March in-game, on the road to WrestleMania, we're going to have what we can call the stupendous double bills of Challenge Run, where episode 231 will have Raw and SmackDown, and then episode 232 would be week 2 Raw and SmackDown. This is to, of course, make it, super jam-packed on the road to WrestleMania, because it's the road to WrestleMania, and we can make it as stupendous as possible by having both shows in one video. And there totally is no other reason for it, nothing like me losing track of time, spending 2 weeks playing 2K22 and realising, oh fuck, I wanted to get to WrestleMania before real life, and realising I don't really have enough days left. But it does actually give me enough time to do like a cool little experiment thing. I'm like, if you prefer Raw and SmackDown being in the same video, you can say. Because it's just been Raw one day, then SmackDown, then Raw, then SmackDown. That's how I've done it since the beginning of time. But me being lazy and doing other stuff with my time has now led me to the possibility where I can experiment with something like that and be like, oh yeah, we can see if this works out. We'll go back to one show a video after Mania. Well, technically at Mania, because, yeah, but that won't be the long-term future unless you tell me that you really like that more. But, yeah, 2K22 has absorbed my month so far, really, basically. There will be some 2K22 stuff coming to the channel at some point. I have me and the lads. We'll probably be starting a universe at some point. Either for here or on Twitch. I don't know which one it'll be. It will either be uploaded straight here or streamed on Twitch, and then I'd upload the VOD, one or the other. I haven't decided yet, but either way. And I've also done like tie-ins with TEW, like a series where I'm not going to record some of the biggest matches from Challenge Run history on the game, just to like bring the series to life, and maybe like splice in parts of the game for WrestleMania and shit. Anyway, I've babbled enough. We are 5 days in game removed from No Way Out, and about 2 weeks in real life removed from No Way Out. I do advise going back to watch both pay-per-views and Raw to remember what's going on, because I had to. But when we move, we're on the road to WrestleMania. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the show. Why is Rey Mysterio on screen? I don't know. Good question, Connell. Anyway, we start with a recap of the end of No Way Out, the 6-man tag, when The Rock defeated Jimmy Uso with a people's elbow to score the win for his team. And then he took a microphone and challenged Roman Reigns to a WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. And also Seth Rollins versus Jacob Fatu and Rey Mysterio versus Jimmy Uso. And Paul Heyman's got the microphone. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the special counsel for the WWE Champion, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Now, your Tribal Chief has refused to comment this evening on the actions, the events of last Sunday's No Way Out premium live event on the WWE Network. Because on that night, The Rock challenged the head of the table. He disrespected the head of the table and challenged him to a match at WrestleMania. Now, naturally, being the head of the table, the tribal chief, and the family man that he is, Roman Reigns, he's skeptical about having to teach his cousin a lesson at WrestleMania. But if Dwayne The Rock Johnson thinks he can come back to the Roman Reigns world and be on top, well, then he needs a lesson to be taught to him. And if it has to come to that, Dwayne, then Roman Reigns will see you in Dallas, Texas. But I hear that you're going to be here tonight at the XL Center. And well, the Tribal Chief, he's got nothing better to do, so he can sit back, he's going to watch the show from his locker room. And maybe we'll see you later, Dwayne. '64, Dakota has her first match back. She beats Dani Luna 5:28 with the Scorpion Kick. 70 for Dakota, 45 for Dani Luna. Dakota's been working through an injury for like the entire season, and it's fun to know that's finally nearly about to go away. After the match, we get the segment like when Dakota turned heel. I say turned heel. Turned uber heel, I guess. Spooky, and came back on NXT with the shovel and that shit. She had a match, I think it was against Cora Jade, and she like beat her up with a table on the outside to send a message to Raquel. We get that segment, but it's her beating up Dani Luna to send a message to Tegan. Because naturally we know the history here, and we don't have to spell it out for you right away, because obviously we know the issues that Dakota will have with Tegan. So she doesn't have to have a big long promo being like, this is my fucking problem with you, Tegan. Because like, yeah, we know these two just hate each other. Backstage segment. AJ Styles is pissed off in his locker room. No Omos, no Bivens, because they walked out together on both Owens and AJ after the pay-per-view. And Kevin Owens walks in, he's like, hey AJ, he's like, oh, what do you want, Kevin? He's like, AJ, look, I think we can both agree that we were both a little out of line at No Way Out. And AJ's like, what do you mean both? Like, you cost me the championships and like have been a bit of a douche for the last month and a half, but you're telling me that we both were at fault? He's like, listen AJ, like I said, we can both agree that we were both a bit out of hand at No Way Out, but you see, we've got a thing here. Phenomeco, some kind of KO pun, but I can't think. Yeah. AJ KO. Whatever. We've got a thing here. This is a thing. You're my new best friend, AJ. I don't want to throw this away. Like screw Omos, right? He sort of look around before he said it, because obviously he wants to make sure that Omos isn't around. He's like, screw Omos, right? He was holding you back, AJ. You going out there in these tag team matches, having to wrestle with this big, immobile lump of wood as your tag team partner. Imagine the damage we could do as the tag team champions. And AJ's like, I mean, that ship has sailed, Kevin. Like, whatever. And Kevin's like, AJ, I don't think you're listening to me. Like, if Bivens can take Omos away, what's stopping us from becoming great? Just to stick it to Omos and to stick it to Bivens. And AJ's like, well, because you're the problem. And Kevin's like, okay, I'm the problem. Okay, so I apologize, but I think with one more chance, me and you together, we can become the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And AJ's like, whatever, Kevin, sure. We then cut to a Kayla interview with Seth and Ray. And he's like, so, Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio, obviously this issue with you and the Bloodline has been reaching new crazy levels recently, and Seth, you're going to go one-on-one with the muscle of the Tribal Chief, Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania, and Ray, you've got Jimmy Uso, and The Rock's going to wrestle Roman Reigns, and Seth's like, isolating each member of the Bloodline one by one is the easiest way. It's like cutting off the heads of Hydra. Like, if we try and attack one member of the Bloodline with the other members around, if we take one out, two more will grow in their place. But if we isolate them one at a time, then we can prove that together they may have this whole Bloodline connection, but alone they're weak and they're there for the taking. And once we isolate them and beat them all one at a time, we can prove that Roman's whole charade as the head of the table is nothing more than smoke and mirrors. And, like, sure, I lost my chance to face the WWE champion Roman Reigns for as long as he's the champion, but once The Rock defeats him at WrestleMania, I'll be first in line, Rey will be second in line, or vice versa. But all that matters is that Roman Reigns and his gang of goons will be out of line, and Jacob Fatu, he's been here for a cup of coffee, but he's never been pinned in the time he's been here in WWE. And that's about to change at WrestleMania, because he's going to step into the ring with Seth freaking Rollins. And this is the biggest match of your life, buddy. It's time to put your money where your mouth is, big guy. And then Ray's like, and Jimmy, you're walking around here because your brother is at home recovering, so you think you can take out my family members, my son, and get away with it? Nah. It's me and you. No Dominic. No Jay. Ray and Jimmy one-on-one. I'm gonna put you in your place, boy. This got a 70. Okay. The fuck. Andrade beats Dijakovic in 4:34 with a hammerlock DDT. Just to get him a nice win. 85 for Andrade, 71 for Dijakovic. And then after the match, Zelina gets in the ring and she takes her microphone. And she's like, there's another dominant win by Andrade. See, Andrade is rocking. Like, we may have hit a stumbling block with the House of Black, but like, who can prepare for those really? All that matters is that Legado de la Sombra came out of that. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And let's be real, our focus wasn't ever on the House of Black. The House of Black's focus was on us. Our issues was with Johnny Gargano and how he ruined Andrade's chance to go to WrestleMania back in the Royal Rumble. Well, guess what, Johnny? You're at home with your broken shoulder. Guess who's not going to WrestleMania now? You. Because you're not going to make it to WrestleMania with your poor little injury. There's going to be no Johnny WrestleMania like you said there would. And you know who you can thank for that? Andrade. So yeah, Johnny did suffer the broken shoulder injury. So, oops. Anyway, Pat McAfee having a sit-down interview in the back with Bayley and Candice and Ember and Shotzi, because on Raw, Rhea Ripley casually dropped the news to Liv and Ruby that next week on Raw it will be Casey and Caden of the A-List against the Riot Squad, and then next week on SmackDown it will be, as we now have learned, Bayley and Candice against Ember and Shotzi, and then the two winners will face off on week 2 March Raw, and the winner of that match will face Io and Kyrie for the tag belts at WrestleMania. So this is just, you know, SmackDown's two hottest women's tag teams being like, hey, or I guess one's a tag team, Bayley and Candice are sort of more just an alliance, and they're sort of talking about how they're going to win and go to WrestleMania because, god damn it, because Ember and Shotzi, they're a well-oiled machine, whereas this is an ego trip. But these two think they're great, and they can prove it when they go to WrestleMania and become the tag team champions, the role models, but the babyface version. What the fuck? 80? Sasha gets a win over Kylie Ray in 8:28 with a bank statement. Sasha, for the first time in about over a year, is all alone here on SmackDown now, because she sort of booted Dana out of the group back at No Way Out because she lost the tag match to Io and Kyrie. Sasha gets a 93 and a 66 for Kylie Ray. And Sasha sort of grabs the mic, she's sort of like exasperated, she's like, Mickey James, I know you're back there. Get out, get your ass out of the ring right now. And out comes Mickey, she is here, and she's like, hey Sasha, it's been a while, how are you doing? She's like, shut up. You know how I'm doing, Mickey. Ever since you cost me my SmackDown Women's Championship, I thought you had my trust. I thought I could trust you, Mickey. But you cost me my SmackDown Women's Championship back at Absolute Zero, and my life's been hell ever since, Mickey, and it's all your fault. And she's like, well, maybe you should have not been such a bitch when I was with you, and maybe that wouldn't have happened. So it kind of is all on you. And Sasha's like, no, you don't get away with this, Mickey. Indy's gone. She's at home recovering from an injury. Dana's left me. You've left me. What you on a mission to destroy my career? And was it out of jealousy? Because I've eclipsed everything that you ever did in your career? Is that what this is about, Mickey? Like, I thought you could pass the knowledge on, but now you've betrayed the one person who was giving you that lifeline. I was your safety vest. You were floating out to sea. You were ready to drown, Mickey. And I threw you that vest. I went, hey, Mickey, put this on. I'll save your career. But I guess you put it on and you decided to puncture a hole in it anyway. And throw it all away. For what? For clout? For... I don't know why you would put yourself back into obscurity like you've done now, because, hey, have you even wrestled since December? You even wrestled in 2022? No, I'm out here putting in the work, Mickey, and you're sitting at home, just a jealous old hag. Thinking, you know, maybe I should have hung it up when I had the chance. And then Mickey's like, let's get one thing clear here, sister. I'm not jealous of you, you're jealous of me. You have wandered around here all high and mighty thinking that your shit doesn't stink. For what? Because you won Queen of the Ring? And you think that makes you better than me? I'm a 6-time women's champion. And granted, you're about the same level as me. I can't remember, I think it might actually be 6. Maybe 7. I think Sasha might have more. Yeah, you are too, Sasha, but because you've won this stupid crown that I never had the chance to win in my career. You think that puts you on a higher pedestal than me, but I'm not. There'd be no Sasha Banks without Mickie James' sister. And that's a fact of life. That's why you wanted me in this group in the first place. So, if you want to find out why you're not getting the job done anymore, it's not me. Maybe you want to go home and look in the mirror, honey. Backstage segment. Adam Pearce is with the Happy Boys. And Corbin's like, haha, did you see? Andrade's out there. He was bragging about breaking Johnny Gargano's shoulder at No Way Out. But let's make one thing clear. It weren't Andrade's doing that. It was me. Happy Corbin. And my boy Knee Jerk Nese. We put that fucking beating on Johnny Gargano. So when's my big WrestleMania match? And Peter's like, I mean no. And he's like, excuse me? He's like, oh, listen, I'm not saying no. Just like, no, Chandra are going to be at WrestleMania. But you don't just get to walk in here and demand a WrestleMania match. You have to earn one of those, Corbin. And if you're as lucky as you think you are, then surely you'll have no problems finding an opponent that wants to wrestle you at WrestleMania. Corbin's like, you know, you're goddamn right, Adam. I'm going to find my way to WrestleMania in spite of you. Then they leave, and then RJ walks. He's like, oh, that guy's a dickhead, huh? Pierce's like, RJ, perfect, just the person I want to see. And he's like, why? He's like, I need you to do a favour for me. He's like, oh my god, Adam, I would love to do a favour for you. What is it? He's like, you need to go to Roman Reigns' locker room and tell him not to interrupt The Rock tonight. And then all of a sudden his smiley face just drops. Because obviously he's scared of the Tribal Chief. He's like, why, Adam? Why do I have to do that? He's like, because with The Rock, he's a big deal. He's, you know, Dwayne Johnson, star of Fortnite. He's the biggest, most mainstream movie star in the world. We can't have his WrestleMania match be put in jeopardy by having Roman Reigns and the Bloodline assault him tonight. So you need to go and tell Reigns and Paul Heyman and Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu to not come out during the main event while The Rock's coming out to talk. Can you do that for me, RJ? Or I might have to find another assistant. He's like, no, I'll get the job done, Pierce, please. I'll get the job done. But then he leaves, and we can see he's obviously nervous because he's got to go and confront the Tribal Chief. New America have occupied the ring. And Ali's like... So John Cena, he has to take a stand, you know? It's quite honourable, really, that John Cena is that guy again. You know, after a year of being completely insufferable to every single person on this roster, it's nice to know he's once again found what he thinks are his morals. He thinks that his morals are back, and he's big John Cena, hustle, loyalty, respect, stand up, rise above hate, wabba-doo, all that stuff. But he's not rising above hate, he's rising above justice. But because this justice isn't being dealt out in a way that he wants it to be, he sees it as a problem. Because John Cena is just like every single one of you. John Cena doesn't want to admit that every word that leaves these lips is facts. John Cena wants to live in his perfect reality where he can walk out here, he can get Royal Rumble victories, he can main event WrestleMania, and he's John Cena, he's the star of Peacemaker, he gets to come home and do what he wants, and oh golly gee, it sure is great to see John Cena. How many opportunities have I been given like that? How many is Sammy? Me and Sammy, granted, both won our championships, both got our championships ripped away from us at the first time of asking, because, well, I can only speculate as to why. Why the office wouldn't want Mustafa Ali as their Universal Champion. But now Team John Cena and their moral avengers, Big Pete Dunne and Big Keith Lee, are standing up to the big bad Mustafa Ali and his gang of invaders. Despite us all, you know, living in this country and having citizenships in this country, but hey, guess we're invaders now. It doesn't matter who you put as your fourth guy, John, because there's nobody stronger than a message that will get delivered. So whichever one of these poor souls you put in that spot, just let them know this. They think that they're standing up for justice. Well, if only one of those teams is actually standing up for justice, and it's not your team, John. Because you're looking at him. You're looking at the good guy. And at WrestleMania, the whole world will realize that. Random 70 rated match. Randy Orton beats Dio Madden with an RKO in 6:28. He gets an 82. Dio gets a 67. Then a quick promo. Just grabbing the mic, doesn't say too much. He says, "Braun Breaker, you're officially being put on notice." And he just slams the mic down and leaves. We don't get the full explanation because I feel like I've done enough of those today, so I can spread them out across other shows as we go to WrestleMania. But Randy apparently has motives that have led him to targeting Braun Breaker. Street Profits are out. They're here with their new SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Like, ayo fam, it's WrestleMania season. WrestleMania season this year is smoke season. Because the Profits are up and we're the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, which means we're going to WrestleMania, baby. And it's like, yeah fam. And it's going to be Profits Mania. Profits will be up at WrestleMania, fam, because it's smoke season. And we want the smoke, yeah. And it's like, well, we'll take on any of the top teams here on SmackDown. And then Kevin Owens interrupts. And Kevin's like, I can't help but listen in, guys. Saying you'll take on any of the top tag teams on SmackDown. Well, guess what? There's a team here who needs a rematch for these titles. Well, technically. Because obviously it's AJ and Omos. But Omos, that big boy, is not here tonight. So don't worry. I'm gonna step in. And then AJ comes out like, Kevin, what is this? He's like, come on. I got us a title match. You can get your titles back. Me and you, let's go. And AJ's like, well, I mean, you're out of line, but I'm not going to say no to a free championship match. So, impromptu SmackDown Tag Team Championship match tonight. Right now. Gets an 88. What the fuck? Goes 13 minutes and 3 seconds. The Street Profits retain over AJ and Kevin Owens when Angelo Dawkins pins AJ Styles with a spine buster to make defense number 1 of the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Kevin Owens gets an 88, an 82 for Montez Ford, an 81 for AJ, and a 75 for Angelo Dawkins. So AJ's taken the loss here. AJ himself has failed to recapture the championships that he lost back at No Way Out. And Kevin's like, got his head in his hands on the outside. He's like, fuck, I thought we had him. And AJ's like, ah. Well, it shocks Kevin. I mean, thank you for the opportunity, Kevin, but it's clear that this isn't a thing that's going to work out anymore. So, this whole alliance here, I'm cutting it off right now because, like, I need to get to WrestleMania. And, like, I can't keep this up. And Kevin's like, WrestleMania? Well, I need to get to WrestleMania. KO Mania 7! I need to, AJ, I need to be on the show. And I was going to be on the show but when we won these championships, but you lost the championship match, and now I'm not going to be on a... He stops. And he's like, You lost the championship match, AJ. You lost it. You have the nerve to say me I'm in the wrong, but you lost the championship match? And AJ's like, Kevin, look. And then, bang. Owens twats AJ Styles, starts beating the fuck out of him. And gets the big apron powerbomb spot. Takes him out. And he's like, if I can't go to WrestleMania, neither can you. Neither can you, Styles. Know your place. Big scream.
We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights for the glory, for the glory. We celebrate with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer, it's the ultimate high for the glory.
Just RJ City, after that, he goes to Paul Heyman's office. He's obviously really nervous to knock on the door. He does that thing where he's going to go knock, but then pulls his arm away. Then as he goes to knock again, he finally gets the courage to move his knuckles and knock. But as he does that, the door opens, and out comes Paul Heyman. He's like, oh, can I help you? And he's like, yes, I've got a message from Adam Pearce. He's like, really? You got a message from Adam Pearce? Well, what did Adam Pearce have to say to us? And he's like, well, The Rock's going to come out in the main event. And he's like, well, let me guess. Adam Pearce wants to ensure that his big money WrestleMania main event remains intact. Well, let's make no worries, RJ City, because I can promise you that the Tribal Chief will not come out during the Rock segment in a moment. Because the Tribal Chief will watch the whole thing from his locker room. And the Tribal Chief will not come out and attack The Rock. You have my word. I am not many things, but a liar is not one of them. I can promise you this. Roman Reigns will not make an appearance again tonight. So you go tell Adam Pearce that he's okay to send The Rock to the ring. Advert break. We get back from the adverts. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, he's here. The guy from Fortnite is in the building. He says, finally, The Rock has come back to the XL Center after 5 days, because this is where all of my shows get booked. He's like, so The Rock's a busy man. In case you haven't tell, in case you managed to go 2 days without seeing The Rock on your television screens, let me fill you in on what The Rock's been doing recently. The Rock's got movie schedules. He's clanging and banging in the gym at 3 a.m. He's eating stacks of pancakes, and he's necking tequilas, and he's doing whatever else The Rock goddamn pleases. But then he hears, The Rock hears a little birdie when he tunes into WWE SmackDown. His cousin, he's like, my cousin is the WWE champion. My cousin's finally found the groove in this business after he needed my help to get there. after I tried to help him get his groove after he won the Royal Rumble, and you were unhappy to see The Rock. But The Rock lets that slide because The Rock knows that was nothing personal. The Rock knows that his cousin just sucked that much ass. Well, The Rock he's watching WWE SmackDown, and The Rock sees the head of the table, the tribal chief, and The Rock is proud of his cousin. He's proud of the progress that this guy's made. Then The Rock's eyes, The Rock's ears, they perk up, because The Rock hears Roman Reigns saying he's doing this for the family, and The Rock loves the family. But The Rock knows that Roman Reigns is full of bullshit. Because Roman Reigns, he's never cared about the family. The Roman Reigns uses the family to get himself ahead. That's not the head at the table, Roman Reigns. It makes you a head, bitch, ass, cookie puss. Or some other childish insult that The Rock would get over. It's like, so Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, The Rock will see you at WrestleMania. Because The Rock is and forever will be the head of the table. The great one, the people's champion. The one that not only did the family and my hard work and my grind get me in that position, but the people put The Rock on that pedestal. But you know who put Roman Reigns on that pedestal? Roman Reigns put Roman Reigns on that pedestal, and let's get up to The Rock's choice. The Rock was happy to let his cousin be WWE champion, but his cousin has been a naughty boy, and it's time for The Rock to step in and put him in his place at WrestleMania. So after WrestleMania, you won't be head of the table anymore, Roman Reigns, because you won't be the tribal chief, you won't be the head of the table, you won't be the top guy in the family. Because you won't even be the WWE champion, because that will be The Rock. If you smell what The Rock... Bang! He's jumped from behind by Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu. Because Paul Heyman was... He's a man of his word. As he said himself, he's many things, but he's not a liar. Roman Reigns isn't out here. He never said anything about Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu. And they've ambushed The Rock. But, unluckily for them, they end up getting outnumbered because, again, Heyman's not a liar. Roman's not going to come out here. But Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio sure are to even the numbers. And then they 3-on-1 take down Jacob Fatu, send him tumbling to the outside. Seth does like a big dive on him. And then Rey Mysterio hits a 619 on Jimmy Uso, who then rocks into rock bottom. And then Rock, Rey, and Seth pose to win the show. In a 93, what a fucking show, okay. Well, welcome back, Connell, I guess. So yeah, hopefully, I won't be taking as long to do this anymore now I've done the first one. I'm back in, and again, for the month of March, because it's stupendous WrestleMania season, and absolutely no other reasons whatsoever, they're going to do double bills. Raw and SmackDown will be in one episode, so there's only 4 more episodes to go to WrestleMania when you think about it like that. Whereas normally there'd be 8, but now there's only 4, so it's big brain. Yeah, but what matters more than the 93 is what you thought of the show. Do let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for episode 331, which will be Monday Night Raw. No, it won't, Connell. See, I did it already. It won't be Monday Night Raw, it will be Raw and SmackDown. See you then.